And it's time once again for the facts. Woo! Here are 50 amazing facts to blow your mind. The deepest humans have ever drilled into the earth is 12,262 meters. That's a little over 40,000 feet. A survey found that 56% of commercial pilots admitted to sleeping while flying, and 29% had woken up to find the other pilot asleep as well. Actress Catherine Russell has only missed 4 performances to attend siblings' weddings as the lead in the off-Broadway play Perfect Crime since it opened in 1987. She holds the world record for most performances as the same character in a play, with over 13,800. A survey of 1,900 workers found that 70% of them lied on their resumes, 76% lied on their cover letters, and 80% lied during the job interview. A single girl once won the Texas State Track Team Championship all by herself. In 2008, Bonnie Richardson scored so many points in individual events that no other school could catch up in team events, despite her being the only athlete from a high school of 59 students. And in 2009, she did it again. 23% of students at the Mississippi University for Women are men. They never changed the name despite it being co-ed for the last 40 plus years. In the late 1800s, many farmers in the American Midwest believed that strong vibrations in the air helped rain clouds form. They thought of it akin to shaking the branches of a wet tree. This led many to set off dynamite explosives at high altitudes in order to bring rain for their crops. Paul Rudd and Jeffrey Dean Morgan have co-owned Samuel's Sweet Shop in Rhinebeck, New York since 2014. They rescued the store from closure after the previous owner, a friend of theirs, passed away. That's nice. That's nice. Walt Disney fired the creator of Goofy for trying to start a union. Nicaraguan Sign Language is a sign language that deaf children in Nicaragua spontaneously developed in the 1980s. Linguists find it particularly interesting because it's believed to be an example of the birth of a new language, unrelated to any other. A Pete Mondrian painting was hung upside down for 75 years before its inversion was noticed and corrected. A. Milne stopped writing Winnie the Pooh books partially because he was worried about the fame it brought his son, Christopher Robin Milne. They even later became estranged because his son resented the books and the fame that they brought him. When Larry Ellison divorced his wife Nancy in 1978, she gave up any claim on his new company for just $500. That company was Oracle, the database company, and made Ellison the world's 8th richest person with $130 billion as of the recording of this video. Muhammad is the most popular name in the world, and by 2014 it was estimated to have been given to 150 million men and boys. Romans wiped their butts with a sea sponge on a stick that they had kept in a bucket of salt water or vinegar. That couldn't have been comfortable. George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire contains over 2,000 named characters with over 41,000 interactions between them. Yet the most prominent characters average out to have only 150 others to keep track of, which is the same number the average human brain has evolved to deal with. Now that's brilliant. There's a molecule called miraculin that changes your taste buds and causes normally sour things to taste sweet. In fact, there are actually tablets that you can buy on Amazon made from what's called miracle berries that have this effect. You can literally eat a whole lemon and it'll taste delicious. James Buchanan is the only American president who was never married. Roman emperors were considered pharaohs in Egypt. Ancient Egyptians viewed their pharaohs as god kings. When Rome conquered Egypt, its emperors became the new pharaohs because Egyptian religion needed a god king to work. Roman emperors only called themselves pharaohs while visiting Egypt. In 1984, Leonard Bernstein once conducted the Vienna Philharmonic without the need of a baton or even his hands, and instead only used his brow and facial expressions. They communicated to the orchestra all the information that they needed. Phil Collins spontaneously sang the lyrics to In the Air Tonight. They were completely improvised, and he didn't write them down until after singing them for the first time on a piece of paper which he still has from his decorator. In 1974, the passage of the Equal Credit Opportunity Act allowed women to open bank accounts, apply for credit, and commit to a mortgage without needing a male co-signer. The 2022 DC superhero Batgirl was the most expensive abandoned movie in history. Warner Brothers already spent over $90 million finishing it, and the film was in post-production when they decided not to release it. The most expensive medication in the world is Hemgenix. The cost is $3,500,000 for a single treatment. It's used to treat hemophilia B, a genetic bleeding disorder. There was once a crocodile that reached 39 feet in length. Sarcophagus, nicknamed Super Croc, had a jaw so powerful that it could crush bone, which the animal used to hunt dinosaurs and other prey much larger than itself. It weighed 8 tons, equal to 2 adult elephants, but went extinct with the dinosaurs. In 1985, Japan Airlines Flight 123 crashed and over 500 people didn't make it. The plane's AFT pressure bulkhead was damaged 7 years prior, but was not repaired correctly. When it failed, the crew lost all control of the plane and only 4 people survived. In the 1840s, people would say prunes instead of cheese when getting a picture taken. It's a conspiracy by the dairy farmers. Walt Disney's house on Carlwood Drive in LA was sold in 1998 and demolished. The original gates still remain though, which contains a hidden Mickey design. When the Emperor of Japan announced the surrender at the end of World War II, he did it in extremely formal and archaic words, the equivalent of an English speaker using Shakespearean language. Research suggests that working irregular work shifts for a decade ages the brain an extra 6.5 years. Despite selling 500,000 copies in its first 2 hours and going 7 times platinum, Guns N' Roses' Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 albums were considered to have underperformed sales expectations. Hair will sometimes grow back differently after chemotherapy. People who have straight hair may find that they now have curly hair or vice versa, and it can even grow back a different color. As of 1859, documented in the Baseball Player's Pocket Companion, there were different rules for baseball, with the New York rules ultimately winning out over the Massachusetts rules. The US TV show Dallas is alleged to have helped partially hasten the downfall of communist Romania. The regime allowed airings of the show in the 1980s, believing that the show could be seen as anti-capitalistic. This backfired though, as citizens desired the luxurious lifestyle that was portrayed in the show. The last broadcast was a found footage horror movie predating the Blair Witch Project, which was estimated to have been made for $1,000 or less and made $4 million at the box office. The F-104 Starfighter jet had such an abysmal safety record, it was called the Widowmaker in West Germany. 292 of 916 units were lost to accidents there. Other countries reported similar rates. The Canadian preschool show Whimsy's House got sued by the Jim Henson Company for copyright and trademark infringement. At one point, the sales of vodka accounted for 1/3 of the Russian national budget. Children in ancient China learned to write from 1,000-character text, a 1,000-word poem where the characters do not repeat and cover everything from philosophy to astrology. After Salvador Dali expressed support for Spanish dictator Franco's regime, Pablo Picasso refused to mention Dali's name or acknowledge his existence for the rest of his life. Ice-T actually made up a gang to keep real gang members off his back in high school. He said, "We actually created a fake gang. We told people we were part of the Hillside Crips. We had them thinking that there was hundreds of us. I never had any trouble." Labadee is a Royal Caribbean-owned private beach resort in Haiti, complete with a 30-foot wall and armed guards on each side isolating it from the rest of the country. Tourists arrive at a port connected to the resort and never go beyond the boundaries of the resort. The closing song, "I've Had the Time of My Life" from the movie Dirty Dancing, has been listed as the 3rd most popular song played at funerals in the United Kingdom. Lawrence Fishburne was only 14 when filming Apocalypse Now, as he had lied about his age to get the role. But production took so long, he was 18 by the time of its release. A garden path sentence is a grammatically correct sentence that starts in such a way that a reader's most likely interpretation will be incorrect. Examples include "The complex houses married and single soldiers and their families," and The Old Man, the Boat. If you look up garden path sentences on Wikipedia, it'll make more sense to you. Just check it out. Many states allow your dog to be a witness at your wedding. Some states allow the dog to also officiate your wedding with a paw print. That's normal, okay. There's something called star jelly, which is a translucent jelly-like substance that's been found for centuries. Scientists have no idea what it is, and according to folklore, it's deposited on Earth during meteor showers. There are 17.3 million American digital nomads, or people that travel freely while working remotely using technology and the internet. Kind of like travel vloggers. I got a couple friends like that. It's kind of a cool life. The last train robbery in the United States was in 1970 at the San Antonio Zoo. The movie Cleopatra cost $350 million to make, adjusted for inflation, which is 3 times higher than Ben-Hur. Due to its cost, it was considered a box office bomb, despite being the highest grossing film of 1963. And that's all for this time. See you next time. Bye. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this, please share it and leave a like. Both help me out a lot. And of course, an extra special thank you to my channel members who get exclusive access to the bloopers from this video, which is one of the clickable links on screen right now. I'll see you guys next time. Much love.